Hello and welcome to UTTV News. I'm Stephanie Pilato.
And I'm Charles Nunno. The big story on campus these past 2 weeks was the UTSU elections. UTSU is the main undergraduate student union, representing about 44,000 undergrads. They're in charge of services such as student health plans and the MetroPass discount. The elections decide who get to take up office at the iconic UTSU building on Harthouse Circle this upcoming year.
Students were to cast their votes during the elections, which were held from March 16th to March 18th. Polling stations were set up at 8 different locations across the St. George campus, with 3 set up at UTM. Official results were announced Monday, March 22nd.
Our correspondent, Semra Savi, was on scene at Sydney Smith during this time. Here's how it looked.
Hi, I'm Semra Savi from UTTV, and today we are in front of the UTSU building, your students' union, which represents over 42,000 undergrads. Here's a look at the past 3 days.
I'm Jack Fallon.
Oh, Michael Tran. Jeffrey Lau.
My name's Akash. My name's Brett Chang.
I'm Alex.
I'm Anisha Thomas.
Joseph Ornowski.
Anthony Dark.
Andre. Louis-Philippe Pouliot.
Purva Misra. Samira Misra. Garcia Rose.
I think I'll be voting for change this year.
Green? Yeah.
I supported to change UFTC.
I'm supporting Stronger Together.
Campaigning for Stronger Together as well.
Vote for change across the board, actually.
I'm going to be voting for Slate Stronger Together.
I'm more in favor of the change.
Well, I voted for change.
We all voted for change.
Change, yeah.
I've worked with a lot of the candidates before. I've worked with Mike for a couple of years. I've worked with James Finley, and I've worked with Steve Moss on things like Winterfest. I know they're good guys. I know that they have great ideas, and they're hard workers. And I think it's time to see some fresh faces at UTSU.
Well, if you look at their credentials, they've got a lot done, and haven't really been approached by anyone from the orange team. It's just been the green team all the time, every day.
I guess from my perspective, it really comes down to clubs funding, and under the current leadership, at least the clubs I've been involved in, I've seen our clubs funding deteriorate from 12,000 to 1,000 over 3 years.
The Decolonizing Our Minds conference, we actually needed funding for interpreters, and U2 had an accessibility fund this year that we were able to use to pay for the interpreters, and we didn't have to pay for any of it out of our funds from ASU. So for them to come out of their way like that and let us know that they had this fund and that we could actually use it as a resource was amazing.
U of T being the best school in Canada, we deserve the best student union in Canada.
I really do want the best experience I can get in this country, and I think that if change wins, U of T will finally have that.
Vote change, everyone!
Yeah.
I don't know, I went through some of the things that they were voting for, the Stronger Together group, and it just didn't...
There's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff that we didn't think was as
Who cares
useful
about
as other stuff.
the Toronto Maple Leafs tickets? That doesn't help.
I don't think that's an important thing to put in your campaign.
That's a very irrelevant issue.
The results of last week's elections are in, and the incumbent Stronger Together slate came out on top. Aside from the relatively high turnout in this election, with over 7,000 voters, the conduct of the 2 campaigns show that the UTSU elections process is a broken one. With the campaign behind us, it is now up to the members of the Stronger Together slate to show us that we are indeed stronger together. This is Semra Savi from UTTV.
The official election results were announced Monday, March 22nd, and can be found on the UTSU website at utsu.ca. It should, however, be noted that most students we approached had no idea that elections were even going on. So while the slates fight for the job of representing over 40,000 undergrads, most undergrads don't even know who they are, and the ones that do don't care.
Toronto Police Chief Bill Blair visited U of T on Thursday, March 18th for an informal talk that was hosted by the Criminology Students Association. Chief Blair, a graduate of U of T's criminology program, talked about the changing face of the police force. He also talked about the reduction in the city's crime rate and the importance of strengthening ties with communities. We were able to speak with him briefly.
You know, I confess to you, I love it. And it's always really difficult when innocent people are victims of violent crime. When innocents are injured or in extreme violence that sometimes take place, because I feel a great responsibility to keep everyone in the city safe. And of course, it's a challenge that's almost impossible because violence does take place in our community. We're also absolutely committed to making sure that people can live not just in safe communities, but in socially just communities.
So, do you have any final parting words for the University of Toronto students?
Well, they're not going to be final parting words because I'm coming back.
All right,
this is still my town, it's still my university.
Thank you so much.
The highly respected 6'5" police chief then exited the building, intimidating those who saw him and scaring every child within a 1-block radius.
In other news, the prestigious Holberg International Prize was awarded to U of T's very own Natalie Zenon Davis. This is one of the world's highest academic prizes.
The Holberg is awarded for excellence in the arts and humanities, social sciences, law, and theology. It totals $768,000.
Professor Davis was also a prof at Princeton before coming to U of T.
How does it feel, Princeton?
The 81-year-old, best known for her book, The Return of Martin Guerre, will be awarded on June 9th of this year.
Congratulations, Professor. And now Felix Arifin joins us with the sports coverage.
Thanks, Charles. The Varsity Blues have had a lot of ups and downs this year, with some great and some dismal results, both at the OUA and the CIS. Let's start with swimming. Our men's swim team won their 7th straight OUA title and finished 2nd at the CIS Championships. Some outstanding performances by both Colin Russell and Jack Chetra led our team to a 2nd place finish. Good work, you guys. Moving on to track and field, our women's track and field team did extremely well at the 2010 CIS Track and Field Championship, with Tori Merrill winning a bronze on day 1 in the pentathlon event. Day 2 was also good, with Megan Brown winning dual silver medals in the 1,000 and 3,000 meters. We capped out the 3rd day with a lot more medals. Megan Brown won gold in 1500, Sarah Wells won bronze in the 600 meters, Sarah Boyle won gold in the high jump, and Laura Mason got bronze in the same event. Great work, ladies. Back to you, Charles.
In more serious news, Robarts Library has only one of its 4 elevators operational now. There is now an actual lineup to get to the stacks. Do you remember the good old days when we had 2 of the 4 elevators operational?
I remember when it only took me 20 minutes to get to the floor where my book was, and then, of course, an additional 20 minutes to find my book.
Please, Robarts, please, fix your elevators. For the love of God, just fix them.
While Charles speaks to God about Robarts, a U of T researcher has found some interesting results with that regard. With more on that and other new research, watch this.
So there are 3 topics: God, ethics, and worms. Let's choose God. This one is by Professor Scott Simon. He took a look at some surveys done in America and discovered a few things. Firstly, 61% of Americans believe that God has determined the directions of their lives. The prof also found out that 82% say that they depend on God for help and guidance in making decisions. 71% believe that when good or bad things happen, that these are all part of God's plans for them. 32% believe it makes no sense to plan anything since God already has everything planned out for them. Next, let's go to ethics. This study was led by Professor Nina Mazar. She took 90 people and gave them $5 to find out whether or not green consumption affects morality. They were split into groups and told to buy stuff online, either from a normal store or a store selling environmentally friendly things. It turns out that the people who bought the green products cheated more at a computer game later on and also took more money than they should have for the reward. The prof thinks that this is because of compensatory ethics, which basically means that you have a limited amount of good in you, and putting that good somewhere means less than something else. Lastly, we turn to worms, specifically this type. This is the type that has been the most heavily studied, and Professor William Ryu, along with some colleagues, discovered that its motion can be described in terms of 4 eigenworms. It means any motion here can be made by some combination of shape 1, 2, 3, or 4, all put together. These account for 95% of all of the motion of the worm. So that's the 3 topics: God, ethics, and worms.
Well, that's it for this week's news.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to look for more videos at uttv.ca. That was UTTV News. I'm Stephanie Cavato.
And I'm Charles Dunham. Goodbye.